The Sirtfood Diet has been generating buzz through its rumored use to drive celebrity weight loss. Best part? The diet encourages red wine and chocolate. What is the diet? Is it supported by evidence? And what the heck is a sirt food? Let's science it. Hey, welcome to Nourishful. I'm Dr. Lara. The Sirtfood Diet was created by Englishman Glen Matten and Irish pharmacist Aidan Goggins. They were studying nutritional medicine together at the University of Surrey when they learned about sirtuin proteins, or sirt for short. Sirt proteins were destined to make these grad school buddies a comfortable income. But how do sirt proteins work? Activated sirt proteins burn fat and preserve muscle by triggering a metabolic switch in your cells. Animals with activated sirt proteins live longer and healthier. But how can you activate sirt proteins? Extreme calorie restriction and extreme exercise. Suggesting to eat a 40% calorie-restricted diet isn't going to make you as popular as suggesting to eat chocolate and drink red wine. Aidan and Glen's classes taught them that certain nutrients can activate sirt proteins, mimicking calorie restriction. I learned about these nutrients in grad school too, and one in particular called resveratrol, which is found in red wine. Resveratrol. A family of compounds called polyphenols contain a whole bunch of sirt-activating nutrients. And who's not going to bite at this offer? Mimic calorie restriction by eating polyphenols? And that was Aidan and Glen's million-dollar idea. Create a diet based around foods with sirt-activating nutrients to burn fat and boost health. And thus, the Sirtfood Diet was born. What are the sirt foods? The diet staples are arugula, buckwheat, capers, celery, chilies, cocoa, coffee, endive, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, green tea, kale, Medjool dates, onion, parsley, red wine, soy, strawberries, turmeric, and walnuts. Nutrients in these foods known to be sirt-activating include quercetin, kaempferol, curcumin, apigenin, and epigallocatechin gallate. Try to say that 3 times fast. Epicatechism Battlestar Galactica. Get me Gallo-Gattaca Magnate. Epigallocatechin gallate. But how much of these nutrients you need to activate sirt proteins and whether you can get enough from food is another question. Resveratrol! If you buy into the Sirtfood Diet, you'll be in one of 3 phases. Phase 1 promises 7 pounds of weight loss in 7 days. And how do they pull that off? Calorie restriction and the diet star, Sirtfood green juice. Sirtfood green juice is made up of kale, arugula, parsley, celery, apple, ginger, lemon, and matcha green tea powder. Days 1, 2, and 3 are restricted to 1,000 calories, including 3 servings of Sirtfood green juice and 1 Sirtfood meal. Days 4 through 7 are restricted to 1,500 calories, including 2 servings of Sirtfood green juice and 2 Sirtfood meals, and some dark chocolate. Phase 2 does away with the rigorous calorie restriction and instead focuses on what you eat as opposed to how much. This is the maintenance phase of the diet and it lasts for 2 weeks. Every day of Phase 2, you'll eat 3 Sirtfood meals, drink 1 serving of green juice, and can opt for 1 to 2 Sirtfood snacks. Red wine can be incorporated in moderation, as in 1 glass with a meal 2 to 3 days per week. While sirt foods are the staples of the diet, they're not the only foods that you eat. The recipes also incorporate both plant and animal proteins, including legumes, poultry, fish, and beef. Now 3 weeks in, we start Phase 3. Phase 3 is called Sirtfoods for Life, and it lasts forever. Glen and Aidan's diet encourages you to broaden your sirt food foundation by incorporating more plants that have sirt-activating nutrients, like quinoa, whole wheat, broccoli, raspberries, fava beans, oregano, etc. Now you're all phased up and free to Phase 3 to eternity. The Sirtfood Diet says that this 3-phased plan based on foods that activate sirt proteins is the key to living longer and healthier. But what does the science say about this sensational diet creation? Research on this exact Sirtfood Diet is seriously lacking. Aidan and Glen's 2016 Sirtfood Diet book cover boldly states clinically proven to lose 7 pounds in 7 days. But that clinical proof comes from a pilot study that they ran with 40 members of a super posh gym in London called KX Life. There were a whole bunch of issues with this study that triggered my science spidey sense. First, there was no control group. Everybody was on the Sirtfood Diet, so they have nobody to compare to. Second, the study only looked at the 7 days of Phase 1, so they have no idea what happens after that. And third, this study was not published in a peer-reviewed academic journal. It was just discussed in their book. Besides this pilot study, the only other evidence were anecdotes sprinkled throughout the chapters. Dr. Lara Science Law number 1, anecdote is not evidence. The premise of the diet is derived from a large body of evidence, but it's way over-extrapolated. Aidan and Glen are guilty of some serious referenciness. Other heavily investigated dietary patterns like the Mediterranean-style diet and the Okinawan diet of Japan are built around Sirtfood staples like olive oil, walnuts, green tea, and soy, which they interpret to say, see, these diets are healthy because they activate Sirt proteins. Similarly, they use studies on cells in a dish and supplemented animals and humans to make their claims. But you know what's lacking? Evidence showing that eating these nutrients in the amounts found in foods actually activates Sirt proteins in humans. You'd have to drink over 500 liters of red wine to get a therapeutic dose of resveratrol. That might cause some problems. The top 20 Sirt foods are all healthy foods, but to say that they should be the foundation of your diet because they activate Sirt proteins, it's a really ginormous stretch. As with most diets, there's both pros and cons. On the negative side is phase 1, especially those first 3 days restricted to 1,000 calories. At such a low caloric intake, you'll definitely lose a bunch of weight really quickly. But when looking at healthy lifestyles, Dr. Lara Science Law number 2, the changes that last are the changes that matter. Save yourself the psychological turmoil of extreme restriction and what they call hyper-success on the scale, and instead focus on lasting healthy habits. Another negative in my book is the reliance on green juice. I am not a fan of juicing. It is expensive, it is wasteful, and it eliminates a whole bunch of the fiber. Aidan and Glen argue that this fiber reduces absorption of some of the sirt-activating nutrients, but I would argue that it's better for your overall health to get that fiber in. Diverse fiber sources help nourish a diverse gut microbiome, and that's super important for your health. Don't deny your microbes their fiber. Dr. Lara Science Law number 348, have a smoothie. The last negative is that they put these 20 Sirt foods on a pedestal. Why are walnuts included, but pistachios aren't? Why is kale king over cauliflower? The best evidence shows that eating a diversity of minimally processed plant foods is best for health. Okay, now for some positives. Whether they activate Sirt proteins or not, the top 20 Sirt foods are healthy. The Sirtfoods for Life phase does broaden the recommended foods to make it more of a plant-forward dietary pattern, though I would push for an even broader variety of fruits and veggies. I appreciate that it is a diet of inclusion rather than exclusion. Basing your diet around diverse plants generally displaces other less healthy foods. And I commend Aidan and Glen for framing their diet as an adaptable way to eat for life. Here's my nourishable opinion. If we look past the super restrictive phase 1, the Sirtfoods for Life diet is a rebranding of a healthy plant-forward lifestyle. The message for decades has been to eat more fruits and veggies. It's consistent. It's evidence-based. But sometimes I wonder if it's too vague to support behavior change. While the notion of Sirt foods being extra special may be theoretical, I wonder if the prescriptiveness of Aidan and Glen's diet might help support behavior change more effectively than the standard eat more fruits and veggies. My take, Aidan and Glen make a pretty big stretch by creating the notion of Sirt foods, but if their prescriptive structure helps introduce people to incorporating more plants into their diet, it could be beneficial. Skip that super restrictive phase 1 because it's just a juice cleanse by another name, and go straight to phase 2. The recipes are nutrient-dense and delicious. Whether you call them Sirt foods or not, eating a diversity of plants is healthy for you. That's what science tastes like. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishable. Check out all my references in my video description, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all things nutrition. I picked the wine from the label.